African and European leaders are gathered in Luanda, Angola for the 7th African Union-European Union Summit. Arise correspondent Adesuwa Giwa-Osagie joins us now from Angola for an update. Good morning, Adesuwa.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Dr. Abati, and good morning, Denbai. Lovely to see you guys again.
All right. Well, the AU-EU summit has begun on a very high note, especially with Nigeria's participation in the summit. Of course, what's making headlines currently, Adesuwa, is the president's speech, particularly where he has re-echoed the fact that Africa must present a solution, must produce an African solution to challenges facing the continent, particularly when we talk about the areas of security, the economy, and others. I'd like you to just break down the president's speech for us this morning.
Thank you very much. Now, the president's speech for me was slightly confusing. I think there's a time and place for everything. I'm not entirely sure that this AU-EU summit was a place for it. Now, in the last 3 years, 2022, 2023, and 2024, the joint commissions of the EU Political and Security Commission and the AU Peace and Security Commission have met, and they have not been able to come up with a joint communique at the end of each of their missions, because of the security situation, not only on the continent, but also in Europe because of the war, particularly in Ukraine and Russia, and the rest of Europe feeling that they're going to be drawn to it. Yesterday, I was speaking to a German delegate who said that it feels like 1939 all over again, and I was like, I truly hope not. Now, in the president's speech, that cited there was that 120,000 Boko Haram terrorist sympathizers and their families have surrendered to the government. Now, citing that as a win, particularly in a time like this, when we're dealing with so many kidnapping situations, is again very confusing. Our only problem in Nigeria is not Boko Haram. We have an alphabet soup of terror groups from Lakurawa to Mahmuda to ISWAP, now unfortunately to JNM and Boko Haram. So it just seems that the speech did not necessarily hit the mark. The focus here has been on debt restructuring, debt sustainability, the just energy transition, particularly going off of the wins at the G20, the 15.5 billion euros pledged by the European Union for the just energy and clean energy in Africa. So it just seems for me that the speech missed the mark.
Conferences back to back. You were in Johannesburg at the G20 summit. Now you are in Luanda, Angola for the AU-EU summit. 25 years after the first meeting in Cairo, Egypt in the year 2000. Two unions, shared vision. But there are areas of disagreement. What are the possible areas of disagreement that we're likely to see at this summit, particularly with regard to debt sustainability, climate change, which the Americans kicked against in Johannesburg, and then the issue of reform of the international tax regime. This, in my view, are likely to be very critical issues, even when we celebrate the partnership, two unions, one vision of global prosperity.
Definitely, two unions, one vision, but we have seen time and time that has not necessarily been true. And when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic, when Africa and the AU were pushing for a trade waiver, so we were able to produce our own vaccines, the EU was against it. In 2022, the last time they met, they had the same idea, two unions, one vision. However, a few weeks after that February 2022 meeting, the war started between Russia and Ukraine. And of course, Russia does have some allies here on the continent, which has led to lack of consensus. When it comes to mineral wealth, one of the things cited yesterday by the president of the European Commission is the Lobito corridor that they're trying to work on. That goes from the Lobito port here in Angola to the mineral-rich areas in the DRC and Zambia. Now, what we're talking about here is that Europe wants our minerals. We want local processing. They want our minerals for clean energy. The demand is expected to triple by 2030. But at the same time, we want funding for clean energy. We get the least amount of funding, less than 10% of the funding for clean energy going around the world in the last couple of years has come to Africa. So those are some of the tension points. However, Europe is trying to position itself as Africa's key ally. They are our biggest trading partner. The transatlantic relationship with America is souring. And so they've been trying to position themselves as a better partner than America or than China. Citing Ursula von der Leyen yesterday, citing that when they come, they They bring cable to the Maghreb.
Okay.
They build infrastructure in Senegal that they're not just extracting value, they're also trying to help Africa gain a better position on the global value chain.
All right. Excellent. Thank you so much, Adesuwa. We look forward to more updates on the AU-EU Summit.